So my question would be like, how would you best recommend that we transition to the done with you service?
Yeah, so would your goal be to like do you still want to have done for you clients or you don't want to have any?
I think for the ones that are there, we can just keep servicing them, but not like to take on any other ones.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, we can dive into this. But one of the things that I did was yeah, I just didn't take any more on. And then I just funneled those done for you clients into the done with you offer, basically. And I don't know if I charged some of them. Some of them I just because I didn't want to handle it anymore. I said, here, you can do it.
Hmm.
And here's the process. I'm gonna still support you, but I'm gonna show you how
Hmm.
to use the process and you can even scale it, add more team, and kind of just told them the benefits of why they would want to have it in house. And if they didn't want to do it, then it's kind of I'd still service them until
Hmm.
they just naturally churned. Um, but so you were saying that you help franchise consultants, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah. So I would stick to the same niche, like don't change the niche, right? So the one thing that you would need to do is here. Let me pull up something so we can talk about it. Essentially,
Hmm.
you want to focus on like the client, right?
Hmm.
So because you want to get to 100K a month, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So it's this simple. um, it may seem overly simple, but what you want to do is you want to focus on the one client, right? So that's franchise consultants, right?
Hmm.
And what's their biggest problem?
Closing more franchise deals.
Okay. Yeah. Franchise deals.
Yeah.
So like basically selling them on their franchise. Is that what they
Getting
do?
people, basically what they do is they get people who want to open their own franchise. So they get people who
Mm.
become franchisees.
Okay. So closing franchise deals. So like closing franchise ease. Like
Yeah.
closing. Yeah. Okay. And then the product would be this franchise deal, like whatever would it be. Because like I'll show you how to map out the product and service after, but just getting
Hmm.
clear on this. So that would be basically like this would actually be like a program, basically a done with you program, right? And we can map what that looks like. And then the offer is basically like what you would be charging. So how much do you charge right now?
Um, Anywhere between 1,000 to 1,500.
Yeah, so I would start at 3,000
Hmm.
and move it up to 3,800. Again, you could even charge more over time, but I would probably start at 3,000 one time.
Got it. And what would you like? How would you structure the offer then? Would you like give them access to Ulink or like how would you do that?
Yeah, that'd be like the program. So we can map out that. So, but that's basically what you need to do. So let's map this out. Let's remove all this. So you have your done with you program. So you would just need to map out the end state. Like, what are they like? Is there a desired state that they want to get to? Like, what are they? I know you said they want to close these franchise deals,
Hmm.
but is there a particular state they want to get to? Like, for example, they want to sell 10 franchises a year or something like that. Like, what's their like? Is there a definitive result or is it just closing deals?
They would like to close one. Most would like to close one a month, close one franchise deal a month.
Okay. So yeah, you would need to define this in terms of let's basically do a red. right? Defining where they are to their desired state, right? So here's where they are right now, right? So you can define what that is. Like, what is this current state? And I'm going to make it more actionable, obviously, but desired state, right? You always start here. You could even in the contents of the new program, you could go through that and see week 1, really how to do this. But once you know, okay, here's the current state, their desired state, you're going to define that. So it's like closing, like you said, like closing one new franchise deal, right? Per month. And probably like getting appointments and all that stuff, right? So like, but that's their end state. They want to do this, right?
Exactly.
So you got to define their current state, right? So maybe they're getting maybe 5 per year, maybe, or like 1 a year, whatever that would be, right? And their current like income and all that stuff. And then what you want to do is just think about like what needs to happen to get them from here to here, right? Ideally in the shortest amount of time possible, because people want fast, consistent results, you know? So like you would then define these activities essentially that they would need to do, right? To go from here to here. So in the case of like our program, you obviously need to define your niche, you know, those type of things, right? Define your niche, set up your LinkedIn profile and Ulink, get it up and running, start generating appointments through Ulink and your messaging, right? So you would define these points that they would need to do to get them this outcome, right? And in your first version of it could be like kind of like scrappy, like not scrappy, but like just getting them the result, like because that's all they want, right? You don't need to build like because you're doing like done with you. It's not going to be like you're building a full on like program like ours, right? So again, just define this and like all the problems. You have probably already good messaging, but like when you're doing the program, think about here's where you are now. By the end, you're going to be closing 1 new franchise a month at least, right? And then, like you said, because you're saying a lot of things like, oh, do they need to set up ads and funnels and all that stuff? Well, like, do they need that to get 1 a month?
They need, I would say, like they definitely need like a lot of leads in the funnel to get 1 a month because of how expensive what they're selling is.
Yeah. So you would just do this. You would define the activities, right? Define the activities. Yeah, whatever they need to do to get there. Again, in the shortest amount of time possible, ideally. And since you've already documented those results, you would just do like, okay, they need to do this first, then this, right? Then this, then this, right? So just define those, right? And once you define those, like it could be like, and think like, what's the minimum amount of things that they would need to do that, right? And then what you can do is now you have like almost pillars, like, or like stage posts. Okay. So like, then you would map it out basically in the time frame it would take for them to get here. Right. And people want fast results again. Right. So you would then define like a time frame. It could even be like weeks. Right. So like
week 1, week 2.
Yeah. Or it could be like months. It could be, but I would define a time frame. Right. And then you would just define like, okay, in week 1, they need to do X, right? Which is set up their LinkedIn or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Because you do LinkedIn as a service, right? So like,
think
about when you set up a new client for your agency, right? Week 2, you need to do that, right? So you just define these activities and then you can map them to the time frame that they need to do them in. to
Mm-hmm.
achieve this end state.
Got it. Got it. Got it. So one of the things too that we were kind of like thinking about is moving from a done for you to a done with you service. How would like one of the downsides, what I would think would be like you're obviously losing the retainer, like the person coming back month over month.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you think about that?
I mean, you just got to get over it. I mean, uh, yeah, you're going to be selling basically one off,
Yeah.
but it's going to be more leveraged on the back end, right?
Yeah.
So, and yeah, it's just like you just got to transition from, because you still have like these guys on retainer, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Yeah. Of
you just
course.
won't have like that. Yeah, and just selling the one off, it's like you sell it and then you can build like assets where like not all of this is obviously on you,
Right.
right?
Right. Right.
So now you can actually put more onto the client to do, right? For example, they're the ones doing their LinkedIn profile. They're the ones setting up the U-Link. They're the
Mm-hmm.
ones doing X, right? And then you're maybe helping them with the messaging, right? Or setting up some assets here, right?
Right.
But you're basically giving them instructions. They're doing it. And then you're kind of like basically doing what we're doing now. You'd probably get them on like a call, um,
Yeah. Go
right?
over stuff with them.
Going over stuff, yeah. And yeah, and then I would probably do that for a few like one-on-one, uh, and then transition into like a more of like a group. Yeah,
Right. Right.
probably,
Right.
yeah,
Yeah. Exactly.
you know, because then you go from you'll have a little bit more, you'll free up more of your time, because then eventually what you want to do is you want to go from basically your service to having like more of like a product in a sense, you know, or like you're
Right.
productizing it more because you
Right.
have like processes and like assets that they can go through to achieve the result, right?
Right. 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 Right.
So it's pretty simple. Um, yeah, I mean, and then what? Yeah, I mean, you could do because you already have like you have 50 clients, so you know it's like pretty uh dialed in because like you could have like the asset like some assets pre-built out. But I would just go sell this first,
Yeah.
sell the done with you, and then once you sell them into it, then you can then you can deliver.
Right. Right. Right.
You
Exactly.
know, you sell first and deliver second.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Of course.
yeah. So
Got
you
it.
can go and make this offer like this week if you want. If you want to transition, right? Like
Yeah.
just go sell it. Um, and then just I would first map it out though. So okay,
Mm-hmm.
what are the activities they need to do? Right? Basically what I'm doing here. What's the activities that they need to do?
Mm-hmm.
And what's the time frame that they can get it done to achieve this result? Like 8 weeks or something like that. But and when you're selling it, we don't like I don't necessarily like tell them it's gonna be 8 weeks. I'm just selling them on this desired state that they want to get to, right?
Right. Right. Right.
But there's a
Yeah.
time
Of
frame they
course.
need to go through to implement these activities that are going to get
Activities.
them, yeah, result. Yeah.
Got it. Okay.